Good afternoon. A little bit late out today. Working nights, so difficult to find time between sleeping during the day and making the videos. But okay, I'm going to continue with my series on the World Championship match between Boris Gelfand, the challenger, and Vishy Anand, the reigning champion. The match is in 2012, and it took place in Moscow. Match is over 12 games, and if it's not decided after 12 games, there's a rapid play tiebreak, which favours Vishy, who was known in 2012 as one of the best rapid players in the world. And so Gelfand won Game 7, excuse me, with some good and inventive play. I really outplayed Anand's semi-Slav, which surprised. Anand was always famous for the strength of his semi-Slav play, but he got outplayed. So here we are in Game 8, and Vishy Anand has white. Let's see what happens. So, d4, knight to f6, perfectly normal and ordinary for 2012. Pawn comes to c4, yeah, trying to create a big centre. Pawn comes to g6, some kind of King's Indian, or he might just go for some kind of Grunfeld. F3, that's known as an anti-Grunfeld variation. It's known as the Alekhine and the anti-Grunfeld. It's because you can get, I think it's not because Alekhine recommended it, because, no. I think it's because you can get a similar position from the Alekhine's defence, if I remember rightly. I might be wrong there. Yeah, pawn comes to c5, pawn comes to c5, pawn comes to d6, pawn comes to d4. Yeah, it's similar to a position which you can get from Alekhine's defence. So that's why it's called the Alekhine anti-Grunfeld variation. Bishop comes to g7 and the knight comes to e2, which is definitely choosing a slow way of developing, putting the knight in front of the bishop. But, with the no developmental possibilities for this knight, bishop on f8, c8, apart from d7, which blocks in the knight, white can afford to take his time to develop properly. Oh, sorry. Went right to the end there. I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry. So the knight comes to h5. He's threatening to take the knight here and damage the pawns. He's also threatening to possibly play knight here if he can get some support for it. So the bishop comes to g5 to make it difficult to move the d pawn. He says, take my knight if you want to, I don't mind. And he proposes a bishop swap, and Vishy is quite in agreement with the bishop swap. No, he's not. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so they swap the bishops, and the queen comes to d2. He might look at playing knight to a3 and kingside castling. He might look at playing bishop to d3 and kingside castling. So he goes to attack against the pawn structure. That's very good. And now the pawn is taken, and the bishop takes the pawn, breaking up in the centre. And white could play, for instance, king to d1 to try and get out of the problems, but he doesn't think it's worth it, so he just goes for the fork immediately. But Gelfand has a way out of this fork, or at least so he thinks. He plays rook check, and the king comes to d1. The bishop takes, and the rook takes. And now he just has to escape with the knight, which was the only piece, which is the only piece threatened now. But he doesn't do that. He comes to f6, thinking, okay, well, I can play here and then I can say check and win the rook in the corner. There's a problem with this plan. I don't know if you see it. The king comes to c2, out of the way. Can't play check here because the bishop is covering it. The queen takes the rook, and the queen comes to f2, and the knight is coming out, and the queen is getting trapped. And then, okay, he will have gotten 2 rooks for his queen, so that's quite even, but he'll be a whole piece down. And after only 17 moves, Gelfand resigned. A shocking resignation. It's shocking to lose a game so quickly. I think if it's not the shortest game in the World Chess Championship history, it's one of the shortest. And he worked hard to get that one against Fischer, and it's like he just gave it away with a misjudged tactic in the next game. And now the match is level, and there's 4 games to go. And Fischer, of course, will be perfectly happy to get draws in those 4 remaining games because he knows he is a better rapid player than Gelfand. Okay, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.